Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to Work Guitars. Among other projects that we have going on, we have this acoustic guitar build that I put aside for a few days to try to catch up on some spraying that I needed to do. And I've been battling with that because of the humidity. Man, it's a constant struggle. So I need to do the bracing on the top for a parlor style build that we're doing. And let's see, let me find the top, hold on. This is the top for the parlor style. Very pretty little piece of Sitka spruce. Looking good, got the rosette in. Okay, and what I did was I went over to the CNC and I cut this template out. And this is the bracing pattern. Now I can lay this on top of the top, and because I've got these pinholes cut in here, I can line everything up very nicely, like this. All right, so I know that I need a brace in every one of these slots. After I get done tightening up this template a little bit, I need to sharpen the corners where I put my pieces of wood in. Then I need to mill this down a little. This is a little heavy. It's not exactly 1/4 of an inch. This is also spruce bracing on the spruce top. It's a little heavy, so we want it to slip right down inside there. I cut these to length, then I can put them in place in here inside, and then put this whole thing on the form, the dish, the radius dish, the proper radius dish. Then my plan is to put the whole thing inside the vacuum bag and use the vacuum bag to clamp all of the bracing at one time. Now I could use my Go-Bar deck, but I've been wanting to do this for a while, and so I'm going to do it. And I think this will be a good way to do it in the future. I'll use the Go-Bar deck for many other builds. It won't go bad by any means. So that's going to still be there when we need it to do other things, like gluing the tops to the body and things like that. That's the plan. This is what I'm trying to get done. I'm going to try and sharpen up these corners a little bit with a file. Then I'm going to mill these down to 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to cut them to length. Now this video obviously will take a long time to film because there's a lot of steps. So I'm only going to do little steps and edit it together. Okay, so that you can see, you get the gist of it, so to speak. So you're not seeing every little boring detail of me filing corners and running these through the machine. You'll just see a very shortened version of that. But you'll get the idea of what I'm trying to do, and then we'll get that all ready. We'll get the pieces cut. We'll put it in the vacuum bag, and boom, we'll be good to go. Okay? So that's the plan. So stick around and let's ride through this and see how we can do with it. And I'll be back. I gotta go spray a little bit, and then I'll come back and work on this, okay? Hold on, we'll be right back. Okay. So I got some spraying done that I needed to do. I have to spray and then do other stuff and then go back and, try to multitask because it's important to get things done. And I have a lot of things to get done. So this is the first template that I made. And when I made it, unfortunately I made it a little too small because for one reason or another, I do make mistakes sometimes. And this template is actually the inside of the body itself. So it's obviously too small to use to trace the top with or anything. But this is actually where the bracing for the back goes. So I could still use it for that, and it still worked out great because it allowed me to mark the bracing for the back, which I got done. And that's looking good. I just need to bracing for the back. This thing sounds great already, man. It's already got a nice, you could hear that. I need to get a microphone. At any rate, that's done. I started thinking while I was doing this, and it worked great. The Go-Bar deck works great, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful system and it works perfectly. But what if you could brace them all at the same time? And I've seen these commercial fixtures that they have. There's a company that makes it, Allied, I think, Allied Luthier Supply or something. It's a beautiful system with a table that closes, the top closes on the table. Awesome. I don't have that, but I do have a vacuum bag and I do have a vacuum pump. And I started thinking to myself, why don't I utilize some of the tools that I have and try to do a vacuum system? So this is the first template I made for the bracing on the top. This is where all the bracing goes on the top, right? So I started thinking, well, what I need to do then is I need to cut slots in this in order to hold the pieces in place while I get it into the bag. And so I can put each piece in its slot, right? Does that make sense? Yes, I'm sure it does. Okay. Then I can slip the whole thing into the vacuum bag, like I already said. Sometimes I repeat myself. But what I need to do first is I need to sharpen up the corners, because I'd like nice sharp corners on my pieces and my braces. And I'm going to use this, which I can put down on top of these 1/4 inch. So if you look closely, you can see that this level here is a little bit smaller. Can you see that okay? All right, so I'm going to use it to mark the outside here, and I'll know where I need to file to on this other template. So I'm going to get you over here a little closer so you can see what's going on, and we'll start working on this and we'll get this going. And this may be a 2-part video, because it'll take a while to get this done. Okay, so I've got all my templates stacked up on top of the 1/4 inch pins here. And I'm just going to use this little, my faithful X-Acto knife. I've had this tool for probably 40 years. I'm not exaggerating. Isn't that crazy? This one tool has survived all of the different moves and so on. So I'm just going to scribe right here where it goes around the outside edge of each one of these cuts. Actually, most of them are pretty good. This one here needs to go a little further over. And this will allow me to give me a place to file to, you know. See how far over I need to file. Don't have to do a lot of filing, but there is some. All right, I can take that up. Take this one up. So this is why I went through all the trouble of making these templates with these holes, so everything will line back up where it's supposed to go. Now, I need to make this again, and I need to make it out of thicker acrylic. As you can see, this does shift a little. And that's unfortunate. But I believe that when I get all the pieces in to their slots, all of that's it's not gonna matter anymore. And this piece here that reinforces the sound hole, and once this goes into the vacuum bag and all that sucks down, there's no way any of that stuff's gonna move because the pins are there, and you know. So we're not gonna worry about that. So I'm just gonna get a file, and I'm just gonna come in here now and sharpen up some of these corners so that I get a nice sharp cut on my board when it goes in there. And this is going to serve a couple of different purposes. The first purpose is, obviously, I know exactly how long all my parts are now. I can take a piece of wood and I can set it up there like this. I can mark it. I can very quickly cut it with a little hand saw and drop it into place. I mean, it's just going to make all of that super easy to do. All these little parts, we'll just butt them into the corner, put a mark on it, cut it, butt it into place, right? So that's going to work out really well. And the second thing, of course, it's going to hold everything in place because it's got to sit down in this groove, and they won't be able to shift around when the suction comes down on top of it. Okay? So this is going to work good. I'm looking forward to getting it done. So let's go ahead and work on that a little bit. Take my little pins and move them out of the way. You see how this is very flexible? I should have made this out of some heavier duty acrylic, but you know, this will still work just fine. In the future, I'll make a heavier duty one. I'm just now learning how to cut acrylic on the CNC so that it doesn't get too hot and clump all up. But it's still held together and it's fine, all right? And it's flexible, so maybe I should leave it because we want it to remain flexible, right? Here's our pretty top. Isn't that pretty? See if I can get some better lighting here for you. Yeah, pretty cool looking. All right, let me get my files. A little triangle file here. It's difficult to find a way to get in there. You see that all right there? Yeah, okay. Yeah, my hand cramps up. Y'all's hands cramp up when you do stuff like that? I'm thinking I might be able to trim this with the X-Acto knife. Or a little saw. And these little corners here. Might be even faster. Yeah, it's still kind of hard. That one is going to take a saw to get in there. That's the sharp corner. This one, I think we can do with a file. My hand's cramping up trying to hold this file. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do, sharpen the corners up. But for some reason, my hand won't uncramp. Hold on, compressor alert. Okay, let's take a break. Drink some water. Hand cramping, possibly dehydrated. A little salt, please. Corner here, much nicer. Come in the file like that. See, I squared some out, but I think they're going to crack if I don't leave them. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. So we're just going to go with that, and we'll see where we get with it. All right. Next, I need to mill this wood. I got it at about 2.8 right now, and I cut these slots to 2.5 because that's what the bracing calls for. 2.5. This is 2.56, slightly larger. So I'm going to mill this wood down to 2.5, these few pieces. Then we can cut a few pieces when we begin to see how this thing goes together, all right? So let's switch over to the sander right quick, and I'll be right back. Hold tight. Okay, so I have everything of correct thickness now. It'll fit down in the slot. And that's what we want. This is at a little under 250. So little it doesn't matter. Okay. So now we know that these are going to fit right in the slots where they go. Now we need to cut them to rough shape. And we'll do that with some templates that I made for that purpose. I have in this bag right here. I need one that looks like this. These fit, this is your X brace right here. Right? That's your X brace, it fits in here, like so. Right inside there. All right, so that's going to be your X brace. Then there's this one here that goes, oh, that's a back. Hold on, got some templates. Next up. Get all of that. Right, that's a back template. Don't need that. That's a back template. Back template. And a back template. Right, these are the ones I need. This is the top. This one goes here. I think it goes like that. You see they have these shapes cut into them. This one goes here. This one goes here. This one goes here. Then you have some of these little fellas like this. Like that. Okay, so we need to cut some of these. I'm not sure where this little guy goes. Let me go and look in the book here real quick. Look at my plans. I call it the book. All right. Hold on a minute, let me check that. Okay, I remember now. This goes in here like this. Right? There's one that goes here. There's one that goes here. And this little fella goes across here, like that. I only made one of each of these because obviously I can repeat the pattern. So I need to spend a little time, and I need to make the piece that goes around the sound hole. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now I need to cut all of these pieces, trace them out on here, cut them to rough shape, and I'll come back and refine all that after it's glued in. I just wanted to get the rough shape and the right general direction of where we're headed, and then we can begin the glue up process. So I'm going to cut all these pieces, and I'll get back to you in the next video and show you what we're going to do with those parts, okay? So this is where we're at. And then we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to stick it in the vacuum bag, okay? All right, that's it for today. We got a bunch of great stuff coming up, so stick around here. Hold on, let me show you this. This has been Scarborough's single cutaway. She's looking very pretty. The neck is glued in. Everything is groovy there. This guitar is ready for final sanding. And away we go on it, okay? So Ben, your guitar is coming. If you watch these videos, which I believe that you do, this is good to go on final sanding detail. One more thing, let me show you this. Just because it's pretty and I want you to see it. This is the neck for Jason Cale's build. Of course, I just put dust all over it, but that's all right. Isn't that pretty? Pal Faro. Such a pretty wood. Okay, that's it for today, guys. I'm gonna go cut all these parts. You don't need to watch me do bandsaw work you know what bandsaw work looks like. And we'll come back and we'll get these pieces glued in. Okay, Philip, we're getting back on your guitar, man. We're going to get it done. Had to get caught up on some other things. Thank you for your patience, sir. Your kind soul. All right. Bye, everybody. You guys have a great, whatever it is that you're doing. Be safe out there. Be good to each other. Work guitars. We love you. See you out there. Please subscribe if you haven't. All right. Bye now. See you.